So, you want to fly, you want to learn to fly. What's the best way? Well, the first thing I would do would join an actual club, because that way you'll get access to a lot of things. You'll get access to training, you can get access to second-hand gear that will go a long way to help you getting equipped. But what do you actually buy if you're going to start learning to fly model airplanes? And there's a lot of choice out there just now. There's a lot of aircraft that you can have like safe systems in, where you flick a switch and it's intermediate, you flick another switch and it's for a beginner, and then you flick the switch again and it goes to advanced, so that it actually doesn't allow you to overbank the airplane or manoeuvre it in a way that's going to be dangerous to the airplane or to learning how to fly. But there's a basic common denominator with all training aircraft, and that is they will look something like this. Now, that is either something that looks like a Fun Cub, a Piper Cub, a Cessna 152. That's the sort of configuration you want your first airplane to be in. A high-winged monoplane that's very stable, that's easy to fly. If you go for anything else, it's going to be quite difficult to learn, because it's, I mean, I'll give you an example. This is a fun racer. Now, it's just not suitable for learning on. It's quite an advanced airplane, but sometimes you get suckered into buying things like this, and they say, oh, you know, it's easy to fly. These aren't easy to fly. This thing here is a lot easier to fly. It's something called an Easy Star, and it's a motor glider. Now, this is probably quite a good thing to learn on, because as you can see, it's got quite a high, the wing sits quite high in it, so it's quite stable, and it's fairly benign. It flies quite nicely. It's got no bad vices, and you can learn on. You could learn on something like this. But as I say, the best thing to learn on is something like a Piper Cub or a Fun Cub or something like that. There's the kind of next progression up from a trainer airplane is something like this, which is a Watt 4 designed by Chris Foss. Now, this is, you could just about probably learn on this, but it's a wee bit more manoeuvrable than other things. But yeah, again, it's got a high wing. It's a high wing monoplane. That's the configuration that you're looking for. Now, how do you actually train you? Well, what will happen if you're in a club, chances are you'll get access to a buddy system, which is basically two transmitters. One is the master, the other one is the slave, and basically you flick a switch on the master and it lets the student who's using the slave fly the model aeroplane. So that's how you actually do that. But trying to find yourself gear is always a bit of it can be quite expensive. If you were to go out and buy everything you needed, it would probably set you back a fair bit of money. But you can, if you're in a club, chances are somebody will be selling something second hand. And I know for a fact that there was a laddie that got an Easy Star and a transmitter all for 60 quid, which was doing quite well. But that's the best thing. If you've got any questions or actual queries about flying and things like that, we've got a really good website. It's there, Dumfries Model Flying Club, and there's lots of pictures and there's lots of all sorts of resources on that website. So we'll have a look at that. Go away, have a look at that. Google Piper Cub, Google Cessna 152, Google Fun Cub. It's just getting yourself started. Don't be seduced by things that say, oh, it's very easy to fly. It's a relative speaking. That, don't go out and buy yourself something like a Spitfire or something like that, because you'll not be able to fly it. Don't go and buy yourself something like a Pitts Special or something like that, or something like this Mini Bolero. That is actually going to be a very twitchy airplane to fly. I've not flown it yet, but it is going to be hear 'em scare 'em when I do fly it. It's what you could fly it 3D, which is basically 3D flying is hanging on the prop and you're flying slower than stalling speed and things like that. But that covers beginners aircraft and getting yourself started. We'll leave it there. I'll do a wee talk on safety the next time I'm doing this. So with that, I'll turn this off, if I can find the thing to turn the thing off. Right, the next subject I want to cover is just general safety. Basically, when you've got a model airplane, you've got two ways of fueling it. You have batteries or you have an IC engine. Now, both basically make the prop go round at a hell of a rate of knots. And you've got to be aware of how dangerous a spinning prop is, because it will take your fingers off. It will give you a real nasty cut. You only do it once. I've done it once. But just be aware of whenever you see a model airplane, and make sure that there's no battery in it before you go touching that prop. In fact, don't touch the prop on something you don't know. Keep your hands well away from it. You never know whether there's a battery in there and it could burst into life. It's somewhat similar for IC engines. Again, the props go around at a tremendous rate, and that is for pound you will get a nasty cut off an electric one, but please be aware of that. That is one of the main things. Also, the actual fuel is, say if you've got a methanol fueled craft, the actual fuel itself is poisonous and not very nice. It's got castor in it, it's got methanol in it, and methanol's not particularly nice. it's a lot better and a lot cleaner with batteries. But batteries have their own idiosyncrasies and their own, how can I say, problems or precautions. This is a lithium polymer battery. Now, there is a tremendous amount of power in that lithium polymer battery. Basic rules for it is always charge it on a proper charger. If you're going to buy a charger, buy a good one and charge it properly. Don't overcharge it. Don't overheat it. Don't puncture it, because they will, if you puncture these, they will very likely go on fire. We've had instances of them going on fire when they're charging. We've had maybe a problem with a charger. So what I do, I always charge them in a charging bag like this. You put that in there like that. Put that on a fireproof sheet somewhere in your garage, in your spare room, and don't charge it. It's alright to go away and leave it, but just be aware that you're charging it and you're putting a tremendous amount of power into these batteries. So that's battery safety, that's propeller safety. You store your batteries in something like this. This is an ammunition tin, and it's ideal for storing your batteries in. And if you have a fire, it will give you a chance of basically isolating it. Now, the only other thing is the actual airplanes themselves. This airplane airplanes are basically unguided missiles, or guided missiles, depending on how you're flying. But if it was to hit you, it would really hurt as well. There's been instances of airplanes crashing into cars, and there was one instance where it went into the back window and buried itself in the front dashboard. That was many moons ago, but they're licensed and registered as that. They're not toys. They're actual flying models. So that's covered everything, I think. I'll think of another little talk to give you, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to review some models and see basically how they go, how they fit together, what goes inside them, and it'll give you some idea of the complexity of the actual hobby. So I'll just call it a day and I'll catch you again. Right.